So at this point, I have freshly wedged clay in the ram's head style, so it should look like a ram's head skull. And I like to add eyes just to be silly. But in any case, you can see the horns on the ram's head, the snout. And when it comes to the snout of the ram's head skull, you should see like folds of clay kind of gathered, like layers of clay. And that's how you know you wedged well. But another way to find out for sure if you wedged well, if you were successful in removing air pockets or air bubbles, is by checking your work and slicing into it with this DIY clay cutting tool made out of 2 coffee stirrer sticks and a piece of dental floss. And when you make this, you want a lot of length showing on the dental floss, and you only want a little bit of overhang after you tie a knot on each coffee stirrer stick. So you want a really wide piece of dental floss. Now you can wind it up like you would use traditional dental floss on your teeth, but for cutting into the ram's head chunk of clay, you're going to lay that piece of floss over the top, front, top, back of the ram's head, and so we need that long length of dental floss. So you can see here how I'm hanging it over the front of the ram's head, the top, and the back. And then you just want to get a good death grip on those coffee stirrer sticks. And I'm a lefty, so in a second I'm going to pull down with my left hand and have that dental floss cut through, slice through, and I'm using my right hand to brace it. Now when you pull these halves apart, you should see something like this. 2 smooth areas on both sides so basically both halves are nice and smooth. And if not, that's a problem. And I'll show you photos of poorly wedged clay so you can see what an air pocket looks like. But no matter what, whether you have air pockets showing or not, so meaning if you wedged well or if you did not wedge well, you're going to have to put both halves together and re-wedge. So in my case, I wedged properly. I just checked myself, as you saw. So now I'm going to re-wedge, and that will be my final wedge before I go on to make a slab. So I'm adding some moisture to my hands, prepping to do a last minute final wedge, and then I'm going to move on. But if you check yourself and you have poorly wedged clay, you're going to have to re-practice, re-wedge until your cutting test proves otherwise and you get better results when you slice through your chunk. So it may take, some additional wedging practice for some of you to get this right and to produce a ram's head style chunk of clay that is officially wedged well. Practice makes perfect, though.